The wind cut through the city like a blade that night. Ethan pulled his jacket tighter around himself as he stepped out of the campus library, his breath forming quick clouds in the freezing air. It was past midnight, and the streets were nearly empty, just flickering streetlights, distant traffic, and the occasional shadow moving too quickly to recognize. He checked his phone. 2% battery. Perfect, he muttered. Before continuing, please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel for more kindness stories and leave a comment to help me to improve my work. Let's continue. Ethan was a final-year college student, balancing part-time jobs, tuition debt, and a future that felt more like a question mark than a plan. That jacket he wore, faded black, slightly torn at the sleeve, wasn't just clothing, it was survival. It had seen 3 winters, 2 job rejections, and countless late-night walks home like this one. As he turned onto a quieter street, he noticed a figure sitting near the corner of a closed convenience store. At first, Ethan almost walked past. Everyone does. The man was curled into himself, sitting on a flattened cardboard box, his hands trembling, his clothes thin and worn beyond repair. A plastic bag sat beside him, holding everything he owned. Ethan slowed down. His mind split in two. Keep walking. You can't help everyone, but you can help this one. He stopped. Hey, Ethan said cautiously. The man looked up. His face was tired, eyes sunken, but still alert. There was something dignified about him, buried beneath the hardship. Yes, the man replied softly. It's really cold tonight. The man gave a small, almost amused smile. That it is. Ethan hesitated, his fingers tightened around the zipper of his jacket. This is my only one, he thought. He imagined the walk home without it, the biting cold, the long night ahead. Then he looked at the man again. No jacket, no shelter, no certainty of morning. Ethan exhaled slowly. Without overthinking it, he unzipped his jacket, took it off, and stepped forward. Here, he said, holding it out. The man blinked, surprised. No, you need that. I'll be okay, Ethan replied, though he wasn't entirely sure that was true. You need it more. There was a long pause, the kind that holds weight. Finally, the man accepted it, his hands shaking, not just from the cold this time. Thank you, he said quietly. You don't know what this means. Ethan gave a small smile. Take care of yourself. And with that, he turned and walked away into the freezing night, arms wrapped tightly around himself, trying to ignore the cold biting through his sweater. That night was one of the longest of his life. Weeks later, Ethan sat in a small cafe, nervously tapping his foot. His phone buzzed. An unknown number. He answered quickly. Hello? Hi, is this Ethan Carter? A professional voice asked. Yes, speaking. This is from Harlow and Finch Consulting. We reviewed your application, and we'd like to invite you for an interview tomorrow morning. Ethan froze. Really? I mean, yes, absolutely. He ended the call and stared at his reflection in the darkened window. An interview. A real opportunity. Something might finally change. The next morning, Ethan stood outside a tall glass building, adjusting the collar of a borrowed blazer that didn't quite fit right. Okay, he whispered to himself, you've got this. He walked in. The lobby was polished, quiet, intimidating. Everything felt expensive, like it belonged to a world he wasn't sure he was allowed into. After checking in, he was directed to the top floor. Each step in the elevator felt heavier than the last. Don't mess this up. When the doors opened, a receptionist greeted him warmly and led him to a sleek office. Please, have a seat. The interviewer will be with you shortly. Ethan nodded, trying to steady his breathing. The door opened, and time stopped. The man who walked in was clean-shaven, wearing a tailored suit, his posture confident, his presence commanding. But Ethan recognized him instantly. The eyes. The same eyes from that freezing night. Ethan stood up, stunned. You? The man smiled gently. Yes, he said. We've already met. Ethan's mind raced. I don't understand. The man gestured for him to sit. My name is Daniel Reeves, he began. I'm the CEO of this company. Ethan blinked. CEO. But the other night you were... Homeless? Daniel finished calmly. Yes. Silence filled the room. Daniel leaned back slightly. I wasn't always, and I won't pretend it was a test designed for you. Life doesn't work that neatly. He paused. But I will say this. I've been through a difficult period. Personal losses, bad decisions. I stepped away from everything, including this company. For a while, I needed to see the world differently, to understand what remains when everything else is gone. Ethan listened, barely breathing. That night, Daniel continued, I had nothing, and you had very little yourself, yet you gave me the one thing keeping you warm. He leaned forward, his voice softer now. Do you know how rare that is? Ethan shook his head slightly. It's easy to be kind when you have abundance, Daniel said. But compassion, real compassion, shows itself when giving costs you something. Ethan looked down, unsure what to say. I didn't know you had applied here until I saw your name, Daniel added. I almost didn't believe it. Another pause. Then Daniel smiled. Your qualifications are strong, but that's not why you're here. Ethan's heart pounded. You're here, Daniel said, because character matters, perspective matters, and you've shown both. Ethan swallowed hard. So, does that mean... Daniel stood and extended his hand. It means, Ethan, welcome to Harlow and Finch. Ethan stared at his hand for a moment, overwhelmed. Then he shook it. Thank you, he whispered. A week later, Ethan walked out of the office building, a new jacket on his shoulders, warm, well-fitted, and unfamiliar in the best way. But something had changed deeper than that. He passed by the same street corner. The cardboard was gone. The space was empty. But Ethan didn't feel the same quiet sadness anymore. Instead, he felt something else, understanding. Because sometimes the smallest act, a simple jacket on a freezing night, doesn't just change someone else's life, it changes yours too.